It was June 13th, 1993, in Minneapolis. A 35-year-old woman named Jeanie Childs was found dead inside her apartment. She had been brutally stabbed over 60 times. The killer left behind blood, footprints, and nothing else. No witnesses, no confession, no answers. For nearly 3 decades, this horrific case sat cold. But in the shadows of forgotten evidence, a single bloody footprint and the future of DNA technology would one day reveal the truth. Before we dive into this chilling mystery, subscribe to DeVanished Realms, where we uncover the darkest crimes, the coldest cases, and the secrets that refuse to stay buried. Jeanie Marie Childs wasn't famous, wealthy, or powerful. She was just a woman trying to make a life for herself in Minneapolis. Friends remembered her as kind, a little shy, but always smiling. She lived in a modest apartment on 3rd Avenue South, a place that should have been safe. But on that summer night in 1993, her home turned into a scene of unimaginable horror. When police entered Jeanie's apartment, what they saw shocked them to their core. Her body lay covered in stab wounds. Investigators counted at least 65 knife wounds. The violence was frenzied, personal. On the floor, they found a comforter, a blue towel, and a washcloth soaked in blood. A red shirt was crumpled in the corner, and near the sink, smeared blood, traces of the killer's touch. But the most haunting clue of all was on the floor, bloody footprints. Jeanie had been wearing socks. The footprints could only belong to the murderer. Yet in 1993, DNA testing was primitive. The evidence was collected, bagged, and stored. But technology couldn't give answers. Investigators hit a wall. For Jeanie's family, the years dragged on. No arrests. No suspects. Her mother, Betty Eekman, refused to let her daughter's memory fade. She called detectives, wrote letters, begged for answers. But silence followed her everywhere. Detectives came and went. Files collected dust. The bloody footprints sat in storage, waiting for a day when science could speak louder than silence. By 2015, Minnesota investigators launched a new effort to reopen cold cases using modern DNA technology. Jeanie's file, long forgotten, was placed back on the table. And this time the story would be different. Investigators turned to a revolutionary technique: forensic genetic genealogy. This method had already cracked the infamous Golden State Killer case in California. Now, Minnesota detectives wanted to use it for Jeanie. They uploaded crime scene DNA to commercial databases. The results pointed to a family tree and eventually narrowed down to 2 brothers. One of them had to be the killer. Suspicion fell on Jerry Westrom, a married father of 3. Outwardly, he was an ordinary man, a hockey dad, a businessman, someone no one suspected of harboring a murderous past. But DNA doesn't lie. In 2019, police followed Westrom to a youth hockey game in Wisconsin. They watched as he grabbed a napkin, wiped his mouth, and tossed it into the trash. Detectives pounced. They retrieved the napkin, sealed it, and rushed it to the lab. The results were conclusive. Jerry Westrom's DNA matched the samples from Jeanie's comforter, towel, and bathroom sink. After 26 years of freedom, Jerry Westrom was arrested for the murder of Jeanie Childs. In August 2022, nearly 3 decades after the crime, Westrom stood trial. Prosecutors presented the bloody evidence. They showed how the DNA connected him to the crime scene beyond any reasonable doubt. The defense argued he was being framed, that the DNA was circumstantial. But the jury didn't buy it. After just 2 hours of deliberation, they delivered their verdict: guilty of first-degree premeditated murder. For Jeanie's mother, it was bittersweet justice. She had lived to see her daughter's killer held accountable. But nothing could erase 30 years of grief. Today, the Jeanie Childs case is studied in forensic classrooms across the country. It's a story of patience, science, and justice delayed but not denied. That single bloody footprint, once seen as useless, became the key to unlocking the truth. Her case proves that with persistence and technology, even the coldest cases can burn hot again. Jeanie Childs was more than a victim. She was a daughter, a friend, a woman with dreams. For 30 years, her story went untold. But today, her voice is heard. And it reminds us, justice may sleep, but it never dies. If this story moved you, subscribe to DeVanished Realms. We bring you the mysteries, the crimes, and the truths that must never be forgotten.
multiple footprints, and they're in her blood.
The person who put the footprint down had to step in wet blood, and it had to be after she was stabbed or bleeding.
How important did those footprints in blood become in this case?
Without the footprints, we would not be sitting here. I think that the footprints defined the path of this case.